lads? Well, today we have Stephanie Brown Batgirl. This has been heavily requested for a very long time now, and honestly, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, a lot more fun than I expected it to be. I, as some of you may notice, I kind of have a thing for purple. That's never come up before. So I'm definitely a big fan of the purple highlights. Now, this one was a bit of a strange one to make because I didn't know exactly how I wanted the overall styling to be, because I can't really do classic because, I mean, for a start, there is no model that has the band on the leg, the extra kind of leg belt, and that immediately takes that out. So at that point I have to decide, do I want to use a 90s Catwoman body with a mesh coat to try and get some kind of classic Batgirl look with it, and then have to try and texture in all the rubber myself, and it, looks off, and it's just really difficult. Instead of that, I thought, why not use the Arkham Knight Batgirl model and just kind of recolor it and use the materials that are already there and try and make an in-universe Arkham Stephanie Brown. And so that's what I went with. And I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. And the thing is, with a character like this, is costumes change so much anyway that, like I said before, there's no way to do the leg band. There's no way to do a fully classic. That's the biggest problem with this. There's no way to get it 100% accurate to any specific book, and so I thought, why try? And that might sound lazy to a lot of people, but you'd honestly be surprised at how much that comes up, where you think, I have options here. I can either try and make this authentic to the source material, knowing I can't get it 100%, or I can do my own thing with it. And usually I try to stay authentic to the source material, and it can often have, some strange results, where, you've got an animated Catwoman with a ring on the back of her head or whatever. And that's just kind of how it happens, and it's something you've got to put up with. And I thought, instead of just putting up with it, I'd try and work, not around it, but work with it this time. And I especially figured, since no one had specified, I want Stephanie Brown Batgirl from this specific book, people just wanted the character, and I think this looks like the character. I think it does her justice. With that out of the way, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, which is the spider currently crawling directly on my microphone. That's not a joke, I'm genuinely quite scared. Luckily today we have two sponsors, the second being the ASMR Power Hour. They've chosen to sponsor us again because, once more, it's gone 1 in the morning when I'm recording this, because I can mod to my heart's content, but I can never mod myself a functioning sleep schedule. Or upload schedule, apparently. It's also worth noting that none of this is scripted whatsoever. I'm just rambling in different takes and then cutting out the parts that need to be cut out, which to me is most of it. This is quite difficult. Well, I mean, outside of all that, I'd say we should probably get back to talking about skin now. So, outside of the details I've already mentioned about the character, the source material, and the oh so lovely purple highlights, something else that proved quite interesting was the hair. I've messed with the hair before for a skin that was never actually released, that may be released at some point. Shh! See, what's interesting about it is that it looks very cartoonish. It looks like one smooth colour, and that's not what I did, actually. I might put some of the textures up on screen now if I can be bothered to edit. You can see it is actually detailed like hair, but for some reason, in-game, it's just one yellow block that shades really weirdly, and so there's constantly these black lumps appearing in it. And while this is kind of a shame, I don't think it's really my fault. And thinking about it, I think it does kind of happen with her hair, even when she's Barbara, so I'm not going to worry about it. Something else I'm not going to worry about is I've seen some very, very minor level of detail issues, and for those who are unfamiliar, level of detail issues is essentially Arkham Knight uses a level of detail texture model, the same as Origins, whereas Asylum and City use a different model, and what the level of detail model means is to save on processing power. Instead of having a bunch of high-resolution textures, you have the same texture in a bunch of different sizes, and as the camera zooms out, it starts using a lower and lower resolution version of the texture. This saves on resources because that way, if someone's really far away, you're not spending lots of computer resource loading in hyper-detailed texture for them when they're just 1 pixel. Now, this is a great model, but the problem is that it means we basically have to extract the textures a billion times over, and I believe I'm missing some of them for a certain size, but the only thing that I've really noticed is sometimes yellow patches appear on the gloves that are there on the regular Arkham Knight Batgirl skin. They will appear at very specific distances, but it's honestly so rare. I only noticed it once, taking one photo mode screenshot. You can't see it in gameplay, you can't see it the rest of the time. If I do find that texture, I will add it to this skin and I will update the download link, but it's not something I'm particularly worried about overall. I considered giving this one white eyes, but I decided it's not something Stephanie usually has, and while it would certainly look cool and look fine, it's not really required. Also, on top of that, not being able to get white eyes is the main reason why I never released the aforementioned unreleased Batgirl skin, and it's because I can't seem to find the eye textures. I always forget how Batgirl's ground takedowns just kind of break dance on enemies. Or, well, breakdancing isn't the correct terminology. How do I know these things? Well, so far, at the very least, I do feel like I've satisfied the YouTube overlords. I've been rambling for long enough to try to bloat this video to 10 minutes, but something I haven't done yet is beg for likes and subscribes, so I'm going to do that now. Can we cut this out? Now at this point, most of my viewers who requested commentary are most likely realising that it was a hideous, egregious, poignant mistake. However, at this point it's too late for you to change your minds. It's in these videos, I don't care what you say. You're stuck with me whether you like it or not. So you might as well like it. And by it, I mean the video. Like the video. I do, however, apologise for the rain hitting the window outside. Unfortunately, I live in a country known as England, and that happens about 99% of the time here. Now, luckily I'm applying noise reduction to this audio because my mic is crap. However, some of it might slip through, so if you're hearing a little pitter-patter, I do apologise. Now, I've put this at a strange point in the video, but I'd like to do a little quick fire round on last week's mod, which was, of course, Alex Ross Batman, the video that I uploaded 1 week ago. Now, one person, you know who you are, asked me, if you're adding commentary, why didn't you commentate this video? And the answer to that is because the idea was to introduce commentary in that one rather than start doing it. Duh. Also because I'm lazy. But I was asked a few questions like, did you put the line detailing on the cape? And the answer to that is yes, I did. And also, is there an out-of-context screenshot of him looking over a ladder? And yes, there is. So now that you've had that added to your life, which you so dearly needed, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and getting tricked into watching the entire 10 minutes of this. Oh, those YouTube overlords will be pleased. Blessed is the algorithm. Blessed is the algorithm. Blessed is the algorithm. Blessed is the algorithm.